A long homestand concludes as the Orange and Blue look to send the oil country faithful into the frigid night with warm hearts. We get you set for the Oilers and the Red Wings on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the pregame show. Tom Gazzola with you alongside Ben Thomson and Matt Kassian, our game analyst for tonight. We'll also be joined by Max Boltman from The Athletic covering the Red Wings right here on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Of course, GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel engine components around, from turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors. They are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years. You can join the conversation. Hit us up on the text line, 780-218-9999. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit that thumbs up button. We appreciate that. And join the conversation via the nasty chat. Let's welcome in Benny Thomson back at EST Global HQ. Oh, look at you all partnered up with Play Alberta, the new Play Alberta hat, his EST golf polo. He is ready to go. He is nice and warm. Matthew Iwanek is not in the office anymore, so he has cranked the heat up to 23 degrees inside our EST Global HQ.
That's funny you say that because we're actually supposed to crank it up to 25 because we're about to have a power outage tonight. So for the people who will be joining us on the postgame show, you guys will see I will have a much different background than the one I have now in a couple hours. I'll be doing it from home. So and with the recommendations, they're saying crank the heat up to 25 in the office. So it's going to be a little toasty in here in the next little bit. So that's pretty funny you mentioned
that. Good.
But.
You're wearing shorts too, aren't you?
No, but you know where I was wearing shorts?
When?
It is. I'm sorry. I'm a little tired today too, just with the BHE. You know,
we got to continue on the show here. We got to get going into the next sponsor read. I'm sorry, I don't have time for this.
Yeah, organized cardio went well last night. Won the championship and the whole deal. It was the boys are fired up, and it was a good game last night. Ended in a shootout. So,
congratulations.
Thank you.
What team is this again?
The Didsbury Dairy Farmers.
Well done, Didsbury Dairy Farmers. Good job at winning glorified street hockey.
Whatever.
I hope you guys celebrated as any team would when you pick up a championship, and that's the best part. Camaraderie and friendship and victory is always a great combination. All right, the 13-11-6 Oilers welcome in the 17-11-3 Detroit Red Wings. I'll get into the lineup before Cass hops on here, and we'll get into the question of the day. McDavid between Nugent Hopkins and Hyman, Draisaitl with Podkolzin and Savoy, Henrique with Mangiapane and Janmark, Lazar with Frederick, who had 14 stitches, taking a puck to the face yesterday at practice, and then Tomashek on that line. Ekholm with Bouchard, Nurse with Regula, Kulak with Emerson, Max Jones has been recalled. There's been some movement from the Oilers in terms of roster. We'll get to that shortly. As for the Wings, here's how they skated in Calgary last night, a 4-3 win at the Dome. It was 4-0. Calgary made a bit of a comeback. Ultimately, the Wings hang on. They have 3 wins in a row on the road, and they are 4-0-1 in their last 5, so pretty good. Larkin between Emmett Finney and Lucas Raymond, Andrew Kopp with Alex DeBrincat and Patrick Kane, Nate Danielson with Elmer Soderblom and Marco Kasper, JT Compher between James Van Riemsdyk and Michael Rasmussen. On defense, Albert Johansson with Lucas Raymond, Ben Sherratt with Axel Sandin Pellikka, then Eric Gustafsson looks like he will get into the lineup paired up with Travis Hamonic, and that is because of an injury to Simon Evanson, which we will get to shortly. But before we get to the Advantage Sport Medicine and Physiotherapy injury report, we need to bring you your starting goalies. For the Oilers, 27-year-old Stu Skinner, 10-8-4 with a .291 goals against average, .887 save percentage, 2 shutouts in 22 games this season. Skinner versus the Red Wings, 1-2-1 record, .296 GAA, .911 save percentage in 4 games versus Detroit in his career. And then at the other end of the rink, Cameron Talbot, the 38-year-old, great human being, pretty darn good goalie, doing it at an advanced age in the National Hockey League. 9-4-2 this season, 3-0-1 goals against average, .884 save percentage in 16 games this year, sharing the net with John Gibson, who played last night. Talbot versus the Oilers lifetime, 4-2-2, 205 goals against average, .934 save percentage, 1 shutout in 9 games versus the Oil over the course of his career. That takes us to the Advantage Sport Medicine and Physiotherapy Injury Report. Connor McDavid's got a team of specialists. You have a bag of frozen peas. Get the same locker room approach that's been trusted by the best in the game at Advantage Sport Medicine. Book your assessment today, www.advantagesportmed.ca, or call 780-460-9977. Jack Roslovic now on IR, undisclosed. Jake Wallman, LTIR. Undisclosed. Noah Philp, LTIR. Upper body, Kasperi Kapanen, LTIR. Knee. Connor Clattenburg has been moved to IR, and then that has allowed the Oilers to call up Max Jones from Bakersfield. As for Detroit, I mentioned Simon Edvinsson. He left last night's game in Calgary with a lower body issue. Mason Appleton dealing with a lower body issue as well for the Red Wings. All right, let's welcome in our game analyst, former NHLer, Matt Kassian. There he is. He looks all warm and cozy at his satellite studios. Hello, Cass. How are you?
I'm good. We're still dealing with all the pestilence and disease in the Kassian household. So
no, not pestilence and disease.
It's school plays shut down. Supposed to be tomorrow night. That's canceled. It pushed back to January. Like half my oldest daughter's class is out sick right now. So it's just getting hammered. So, but we're good. We're hanging out. The kids, they got Home Alone 2 on upstairs. We'll probably fall asleep early tonight for them. Outside of that, I'm excited to watch a little hockey here, fellas. A good ending or a good opportunity to end a homestand in hopefully the right way.
Mm-hmm. We'll see if the Oilers can actually make that happen tonight. I know we expected them to do it on Tuesday. They let everybody down, essentially. Good job by the Buffalo Sabres to play them tough and take advantage of their opportunity, especially in that second period on Tuesday night. All right, before we dive into Game Changers, Cass, let's get Benny Thompson's question of the night.
Yeah, so question of the night tonight is, if, say, the Oilers win against the Red Wings tonight, does the Buffalo Sabres loss on Tuesday night look like a one-off? Does it look like a random night where they just it didn't go their way on Tuesday night? Let's say so. That's the question. If the Oilers beat the Detroit Red Wings tonight, was the Buffalo loss on Tuesday a one-off?
Cass?
Oh, that's a tough question. You're asking the hard ones today. Was it a one-off? It kind of depends on how they win, doesn't it? But you know what? I'll just say, because I don't want to sit on the fence here. I don't want to go all over the place. I am going to say yes.
Ooh, you don't even sound convinced, Kat.
I'm going to say yes. No, I'm going to say yes. And here's why.
Okay.
And it almost goes back, not quite all the way, but almost goes back to the other loss to the Buffalo Sabres. If we go back to November, they lose 2-1 in overtime to Tampa, played a good game, probably should have won, should have found a way in that one. So there was a good game there. They play a good game against Florida. They win 6-3. I throw away and I write off. Right? I write off that Dallas game. I have already. Don't want to do that too much, but I'm going to write off that Dallas game. So you have Tampa, Florida, not a good game against Dallas. Then you have a great game against Seattle. You shut them out 4-0. And then you come back home, you lose a tight one to a very good Minnesota team that you outplayed Minnesota. You outchanced Minnesota. You didn't shoot the puck enough, but you were good. You played a good game. You lost to a hot goalie team that's playing well enough, and you lost. Mm-hmm. Then you had another blowout win against Seattle. Then you had another blowout win against Winnipeg. And then you dropped that game against Buffalo. So I kind of go like, okay, that really... in a span of, so how many games did I go through there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then tonight. So that'd be 9 games, and you'd have 2 stinkers in that. Right? So in a 9-game period, you had 2 stinkers in that, if they play well and if they win tonight. The game against Buffalo that they lost and still get a point out of, and then the stinker against Dallas, which I kind of throw away. And so I think when I look at that and I say, okay, I know... and even my tendency is just based on overall how this season has gone to maybe discount or discredit You know that, and to want to feel super negative about how they played that Buffalo game. And I think it's okay to look at it and say they did play poorly. But if they win tonight, I think you have to look at that and say, hey, in the last 9 games, that's 2 bad games in the last 9. 2 bad games in the last 9. You go the rest of the year and you have 2 bad games every 9, you should be okay. Mm-hmm. You should be okay. So I don't know. I think if they win it, if they play well, I think I'm going to say I don't want to say it's a one-off quite, but I'm okay
you can't
with
change mid-answer.
No, it's not like, okay, I'm fine with it. If they win tonight, I'm fine with it. There we go.
Okay.
I said it.
Okay. Taco texting and says, no, not a one-off. We keep asking every other week if the Oilers are finally here. Then they quickly show us that they are not. And I'm kind of the same mind as Taco, where they keep showing it like they don't have a winning streak, you guys. That's a problem to me. And that's why I would lean towards, no, it's not a one-off until they have a winning streak and show us that they can handle success and deal with it properly. I will always be doubtful. And that's too bad. It's 30 games. This is game 31 tonight. So
that's fair. That's fair. So how many, because I think there's lots of questions, and I just posted it in the nasty chat. And I said, you get one off every 10 games, right? You get it. You get a bad game every 10 games.
Sure.
Right. So I guess maybe the flip side to that is, okay, if let's say they win tonight, you're not saying, hey, the Buffalo game's a one-off, but they win tonight, and let's say they win tonight in spectacular fashion and play very well. How are you feeling about this team ultimately? Because
they
that
have
would
been better.
Yeah.
They have been. You can't deny that either. This is an interesting one. It's from Derek Robertson in the nasty chat. Says, this year's Oilers remind me of the 1992 Oilers with Nichols, Damphus, and Murphy. That 92 Oilers team, I believe, went to the conference final and lost to Chicago. So, that team was actually half decent, if I remember that correctly. Because 91, they lost to Minnesota, who lost to Pittsburgh. And then in 1992, they lost to Chicago, who lost to Pittsburgh in the Stanley Cup final. So, good one. Nice dig, Derek Robertson. I appreciate that very, very much. All right, let's jump into game changers. Also, let us know how you feel about that game the other night. That is the question of the night. Was last game's loss to Buffalo a one-off, or will it be more of this inconsistent play consistently all season long as we enter game 31? All right, game changers with Matt Kassian, brought to you as always by Damon Bunting Real Estate. Damon Bunting, consistent top producing realtor in the greater Edmonton area for over 18 years. He's community driven and understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. So check him out, DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. Cast numero uno, 3 in 4.
The Detroit Red Wings coming in hot, playing 3 games in 4 nights.
Yeah.
Another fortuitous opportunity from a scheduling standpoint for the Edmonton Oilers. Now, they've been the victim of this before this season a couple of times. This is another opportunity for them, though, here to establish themselves against a tired team. You know, it's not just back-to-backs aren't just the killer. Back-to-backs don't, like, if you just have 2 games in a row, it's not necessarily horrible. Now, it can be tiring with travel and all that. It can wear you down a little bit, but 3 and 4 suck. 3 and 3s, had 8 million of those in the AHL. You had those all the time. Those were horrible. And sometimes you'd have 4 and 5, like where you play 3 and 3, you have one game and you play him on Tuesday, and it's just the worst in the world. Like, that's like the third game and third night. I mean, that's just a slop fest. It's a toss up on who's going to win. Now, 3 and 4 nights still very difficult for your body. Now, there is a youth movement, which we'll talk about a little bit, for the Detroit Red Wings, and a good youth movement. I think the team that most likely is on the up and up in terms of the direction of the team. And guys, it's an opportunity for the Edmonton Oilers to stick it to a team that has been on the road and is playing a lot of hockey. And yes, they managed to hold on to that win yesterday, and they maybe just be feeling a little bit of a sigh of relief with their victory that wasn't spectacular, letting a team back into it, being up 4-0 and letting a team crawl back and just about losing it and dropping it. I mean, that the old butthole's puckering a little bit towards the end of that game, and you do manage to hold on. But to me, that tells me they're a little bit ripe for the picking here for the Edmonton Oilers. So how mentally are you going to be prepared for this game, knowing that you have a exposed and vulnerable Detroit team that from an energy standpoint, I mean, this shouldn't even be close. This shouldn't even be close from an energy standpoint. Like the Edmonton Oilers should be flying compared to the Detroit Red Wings. Like it shouldn't be a game where Detroit has any kind of juice and jam and mojo and jump, and Edmonton doesn't have any. Like it should be the complete opposite. So we'll see fairly early on what type of team the Oilers are tonight. But guys, this is a huge opportunity to play a tired team for the Edmonton Oilers.
Should. Active word.
Should.
Very, very active word there. And we'll see if they can take it. They did it, to their credit, on Saturday against Winnipeg. Okay? That was a 3-4 as well.
Yep.
They did not do it on Tuesday against Buffalo. They kind of made it close. They got that point, Cass, like you alluded to, but now I think I use roll of the dice when it comes to this team. It might be a roll of the dice again tonight, unfortunately.
It could be.
But I will emphasize, double underline, should take advantage and have, like you said, Cass, more energy than the Detroit Red Wings, who, by the way, 4-0-2 in their last 6. They had back-to-back games against Boston, an OT or shootout loss, then a win. They went into Columbus to start this road trip. That was also a shootout loss. They won in Seattle, won in Vancouver, won in Calgary. They get the Oil tonight, and then they're back in action on Monday in Chicago to close out this road trip. So they've been pretty hot, especially on the road this year, guys. They've been really good so far this season. Their record on the road, 8-5-2 with a 3-game winning streak going. That is the Red Wings, as the Oilers should have more energy than a team that, as Cass alluded to, had 3 games in 4 nights. Let's go to point number 2 here on Game Changers with Matt Kassian. Surging Savoy, Cass.
Yeah, surging Savoy. Matt Savoy is really starting to come around on the season, guys. Now, we know early on there was lots of opportunity. Couldn't quite find ways to put the puck in the net. Like just hadn't really been able to find it. Now, he finally did, and the points are starting to come. I mean, he's starting to produce from an offensive standpoint. Which I think for the Edmonton Oilers is an absolute great thing to see for them. When we talked about all the time heading into the season, okay, well, how many goals does Howard need to get? How many goals does Savoy need to get for this team to benefit? And there was other things that are going to factor in or have already factored into that, like Roslovic. Now he's hurt, but Roslovic kind of ending up being the guy that was finding a way to score and produce. And early on, it kind of looked like Matt Savoy was going to be there and going to be playing well positionally and playing on the penalty kill, but maybe not producing as much as we hoped offensively. With that being said, he's starting to turn it on a little bit. 4 goals, 1 assist for 5 points in the last 7 games. So he's starting to click a little bit. Yes, one of those is an empty netter. We know that. That's okay. But for a young guy that the Oilers need to step up, and with the injuries that they currently have still, Matt Savoy's really coming into his own, and he will be the type of player, and I say will, with intention, because he's a smart player, knows where to go on the ice, but he will, I think, for the rest of the year, be able to produce wherever he's at. Now, I think the expectation and the hope would be the longer that he plays with like Draisaitl and Podkolzin, that he produces at a higher rate than if he does slide down to that third line. But I think we're really seeing the confidence bloom and blossom for the Edmonton Oilers. And as much as we are in the talk the last week really has been around Podkolzin and how good he has looked, which rightfully so, because he's looked really good, started to find ways to produce on his own and play physical and be reliable. Matt Savoy's kind of done the same thing. Now, looks a totally different way than Podkolzin because he's not that physical, presence that Podkolzin can be in terms of, winning battles along the boards and that, but just an effective player recently nonetheless. So just wanted to point that out. I think a positive thing for the Edmonton Oilers, and heading into this one, a guy, again, like, we know what to expect from Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Connor McDavid, and Zach Hyman in that line. We're getting to the point where I think we can start to expect some of those same things from Matt Savoy when he is playing in that top 6 group.
Did you see how hard Benny was nodding? Mm-hmm. That's just music to his ears, right, Benny?
Yeah, I mean, I've been beating that drum for a while too, Cass. And to me, there's been the question of, where's the depth scoring with this team, right? Maybe you're not happy with Mangiapane's producing. You're certainly not happy with Frederick's numbers right now. Henriques has has been a little bit down the past couple of games, but if Savoy's game is starting to turn around offensively, because to me, it's always been there defensively. Like he hasn't been a liability defensively, which is awesome to see from a rookie. And he scores an empty net goal. Well, it says something that he's out there with an empty net, right? Like he's trusted by Chris Nalbach in pretty much every situation right now. So if Matt Savoy's offensive side is starting to get going a little bit, when Jack Roslovic comes back, you can decide between Roslovic or Savoy, whoever slides down to that bottom 6, and it's probably going to be Savoy. And if he does, he's reliable in his own end. And if his scoring side's starting to get there a little bit and he gets chemistry with Henrique or whoever he plays with on that third line, there's your depth scoring, right? He's going to help out with that. So, it's great to see, and it seems like he's got his feet under him, and he's thinking smart. So, it's nice to see, and I hope it keeps going throughout the season.
Important to note too, you talk about him kind of being defense first. That's not the player they drafted, or the Buffalo Sabres drafted, was a defense first player. Yeah, like I watched him. I've talked about this before. I've watched him multiple times in junior. Playing with the Moose Jaw Warriors, and it's like he was on another level, creatively versus all the guys he was playing with. And that's not to bash his teammates in Moose Jaw. It's just, no, he thought the game at a faster level, at a higher level, at a more creative level than they did. And you could see, watching from the stands in the press box, you could see what he was thinking and what he was trying to do. And you're just like, his teammates are like me, right? They just, you're on the ice and you're just like, would never do that. And so it's amazing to me to hear that it's like, oh yeah, you're confident in him defense first, where it's like, this is a guy that reinvented himself on the defensive side of the puck inside of a year of playing pro. 1 year. This wasn't like a 5-year thing where he had to slowly learn. He was like, right away, he was like, yeah, I gotta play well on my own end and play smart and play good defensively and kill penalties, and then that's going to give me an opportunity. So, his foundational skill set is on the offensive side. Now he's probably toned it down a little bit and toned down the creativity to fit in defensively. But if that confidence to know when and how to flex that muscle is building, I mean, that just bodes well for them.
It is Game Changers, brought to you by Damon Bunting Real Estate. Point 1, 3, and 4. Point 2, Surging Savoy. You just heard Cass talking about it there. And then point number 3 tonight, Cass, Speedy D. Yeah,
this and I know like Simon Edvinsson is out, which is a pretty big blow for the Detroit Red Wings. But this, I love their decor right now. The Detroit Red Wings decor is a lot of fun. They are a fun defensive unit, a young defensive unit. And again, I know Edvinsson out, but he's a young guy, 22 years old. Moritz Seider, one of the best young defensemen in the league at 24 years old. Guy plays like he's 30 from a veteran standpoint. Still has the energy of a 24-year-old, but plays like a 8, 9, 10-year NHL veteran. Like he's fantastic in both ends of the ice, typically. Mm-hmm. Axel Sandin, I can never say that. Pelika, freaking Finnish names.
I gotcha.
Another young defenseman in Albert Johansson, another young defenseman. They are bursting at the seams. This Red Wings team is bursting at the seams with talent on the back end. And guys, they almost all, to a man, they almost skate incredibly well. Like, this is a group, the Detroit Red Wings, that if you look at the team, like they got some players up front with some skill. Yep, sure. DeBrincat having a great year. Patrick Kane still somehow managing to put away some points. Larkin is probably an underrated player for what he does. But when we look at it, we're not looking at the Detroit Red Wings up front and being like, oh, wow, like look at the Detroit Red Wings. They're just going to absolutely overpower you with the skill of their forwards. So look, like you're not looking at a McDavid and a Draisaitl. You're not looking at a Stone and an Eichel. You're not looking like they don't have that caliber of forwards. Yet here they are from a standing standpoint and from a play standpoint on top of the Atlantic Division. Oh, and by the way, they're scoring quite a few goals doing it. They're scoring quite, and that's not just because of the forward group that starts from the defense out. It's the defense out with that group, and they all skate well, move the puck well, and are a ton of fun to watch. Like for the Edmonton Oilers, you look at that defense of the Detroit Red Wings, and you have to think to yourself, like, we have to find a way here to get to these guys, not just physically, but to try to slow them down, to try to take away their time and space, because it is a group that will absolutely try to beat you with their D up ice. And that's how they've been constructed so far and built so far. And guys, I got to say, from a defensive standpoint, it's probably the most fun young group in the NHL currently for their age group. So a lot of fun. I think they bring a pretty unique challenge for the Edmonton Oilers, and Edmonton's going to have to find a way to slow them down.
Cass, they also allow a lot of goals too, right? They're at 105 goals against, allowed aside from fourth with the Habs.
Yep.
And yes, they do score quite a few. -6 on the goal differential. One last one for you from the text line from Coach Mike Cass before we go. How important is the first goal tonight? That's from Coach Mike.
I think it's huge. You score, well, it's huge every night, of course. More so on nights like this because you're playing a tired team.
Right.
You score that first one, that's just that much more to try to overcome. And, getting closer to the end of a road trip, you want to give the visiting team every opportunity to shut it down, to say, we're okay. Like, we'll just get through it. We'll just kind of survive. The more life you give them a lead, and all of a sudden it's like you dangle those 2 points in front of them. Teams are way more likely to grab it. So, yeah, that first goal is even more than typical important tonight.
We'll see if the Oilers can get it. Cass, great stuff as always, my friend. We'll catch you on the post-game show.
Sounds good, fellas.
There you go. There's our game analyst, Matt Kassian, with Game Changers, brought to you as always by Damon Bunting Real Estate. Damon Bunting now with The Agency. Go check them out if you're looking to buy or sell a home on this frigid day. My God, it's so cold. All right, text us 780-218-9999. Jump into the chat if you're watching over on YouTube. We get you set for the Oilers and the Red Wings second and final meeting this season between these two teams. The Wings 3-game winning streak, haven't lost in regulation since later in November, and are cruising along just nicely atop the Atlantic Division. All right, let's welcome in our next guest, Max Bultman, The Athletic, Red Wings beat writer. He joins us for the first time. Max, thanks for doing this. Really appreciate you coming on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. I was just alluding to it. Like, this is going to go underneath my suit jacket when I walk over to the rink. It's right across the street from my place. It is freezing cold here, dude. How's everything in Detroit?
Yeah, it's not that level of cold. I mean, my sidewalk is pure ice. I could put the skates on and go for a skate down the block, but at least it would only be like 20 Fahrenheit while I did it. I feel for you guys. -13 Fahrenheit, which is -25 Celsius, and it's been windy here, so not pleasant at all. Yeah, no, I don't blame you. All right, let's dive in. You heard Cass a little bit there talking about the first goal of the game, and then we looked at the goal differential for these teams. And it sounds like this has the potential for being a high-scoring game. We know the Oilers can score. They've scored more lately. They've got offensive weapons. We know that. We know they don't defend particularly well. However, they have defended better lately. How about the Red Wings? Like, could we see this hit the over? It's set at 6.5 on Play Alberta right now. What would you say to that? My gut would be the under. I think when these two teams met in Detroit, the way the Red Wings approached it is they put Dylan Larkin on Connor McDavid, which is a matchup they've had pretty good success with through the years and had really good success with that night. Mm-hmm. He's able to skate with McDavid. He's able to kind of have them adopt the mindset that I think few star players are against him, and that they're okay if they have a quiet night offensively. as long as they can kind of keep him to the outside. Now, Larkin ended up having a loud night offensively that night, but it came in flow. He wasn't cheating for it. The whole commitment to his game was going up against McDavid. You shift that matchup to Edmonton, and all of a sudden it's Chris Knobloch making the matchups. I believe McDavid and Draisaitl were together that night. Tonight, I would have to imagine they're going to at least get McDavid away from Dylan Larkin, and they probably put him, if I had to guess, on the Patrick Kane, Alex DeBrincat line. That's been doing so much of the Red Wings damage lately. That line does not defend particularly well, although Andrew Kopp can be a pretty smart, heady defensive player, matchup player for them. Kane and DeBrincat, smaller wingers. Certainly DeBrincat's going to put in a hard, tenacious effort. But I think if McDavid can hem the Red Wings in, and that line in particular, into their zone, I think they have the potential to tilt the ice a little bit in a way that I imagine is going to favor the Oilers. But you never know. I haven't seen Cam Talbot in a few starts down here as John Gibson's finally got.
Oh, no, we lost Max. We'll get him back.
Oh, no.
He's back. There we go. There we go. We got Max back. He's good to go. You got him, Benny? All right, right when you mentioned Cam Talbot, maybe it's the curse of Cam Talbot at Edmonton. Go ahead. Sorry, Max.
No, that's all right. I was just saying, I haven't seen him in a few games as John Gibson has started to pick up a little bit of steam. So this could go either way for him. I don't know if that's rest. I don't know if that's rust. I guess we're going to find out in about 25 minutes.
Okay, a lot of questions to ask you. We will get into the goaltending thing, but I wanted to ask you about last night. I watched that game in Calgary. It looked like the Wings were cruising along nicely. I know Calgary made it a bit of a game of it, but I didn't think the Flames were that threatening. I'm not too worried about Calgary right now with the way their season's going and the way they've been performing. But what were some of the keys to last night's victory for the Detroit Red Wings?
So actually, I was in Grand Rapids last night watching their farm team. When we went out west, I decided to take some time to go see the prospects. So I'd only really be able to tell you from what I saw in the highlights, and then obviously watching the post-game press conference. Right. I'll tell you, like, the message from the Red Wings was that it was a below-standard game from them, that they really allowed Calgary back into that game, that really even before the third period that they had started to slip in that way. I think the shot totals would tell you that as well. So I didn't watch that game, but I can tell you that was their takeaway, that they did not come out with their best foot last night, and I think they're going to be hoping to have a little more legs tonight. That's always tough on the second night of a back-to-back.
Hey, if you would have just BS'd your way through that without being so honest, I think that would have been just fine too. But okay. So not up to their standard. I know they're going to be playing their third game in 4 nights. I know they lost Edmonton last night. So we're going to see Eric Gustafsson, it sounds like.
Edmonson's going to take warm-ups.
He is, okay.
Reported that just about an hour ago, that he's going to dress for warm-ups and see if he can give it a go. That would be a big difference maker. He's a big player for them. The skating, the length, he's a huge piece of their blue line. So if he can go, that's a little bit of a dynamic shifter for them.
Did you say Russo? Because he is in town for the rivalry series, and the U.S. won last night against Canada back at Rogers Place. So yeah,
he is. But even if he wasn't, he's everywhere, so he would know it anyway.
That's such a good point. Mike Russo is just like the hockey nerd that everybody needs to follow. All right. Talk about Talbot and John Gibson and how this tandem works and why it works. And you look at the starts and they're pretty even up, and both guys have had success. How would you describe this goaltending tandem and why it's been clicking?
If you had asked the average Red Wings fan 2 weeks ago why this tandem works, they'd have told you it doesn't. I mean, the goaltending's been an issue for them, I think, a lot of times this year. Talbot's had a lot more success than John Gibson has, or at least had, coming into this road trip. This is when Gibson has started to find his form. My guess is that's partly a comfort thing. Gibson comes into a new system. He's got to learn new tendencies of the players in front of him, how they play certain situations, what he's supposed to be reading and reacting to. He's started to pick it up, and I certainly think the Red Wings are going to hope he can keep that form. I thought Talbot was very good earlier in the year, but he's a 38-year-old goalie. And I think as the start started to pile up while Gibson was looking for his game, maybe you saw that slip, or maybe it's coincidence, right? I mean, the numbers were never outstanding, but he was certainly getting a lot more wins. I've thought he's been very steady in the net most nights that he's played. I think that's the best thing he contributes to this team, is just he's very cool, calm, and collected in that net. I think he's an easy player to probably be confident in front of, because I don't think he ever looks rattled. So to me, I think that's a key to their season going forward, is can they get enough out of these two guys? Obviously, they have a top prospect in Sebastian Cossa that I think fans also want to see. That probably probably was driving a little bit of the narrative and the outrage about the goaltending. But there were some nights where they were giving up much bigger numbers than they probably needed to, and that always relates to the defense and it always relates to the goaltending. Red
Wings beat reporter Max Bultman joining us now from The Athletic. I'm so glad you mentioned Sebastian Cossa because he's very familiar to people around here. He was an excellent Edmonton Oil King. The Oilers wanted him at that draft. The Red Wings took him. They've obviously took time with Sebastian Cossa. We saw Wallstedt come through here last week, shut out the Oilers. Oilers fans going crazy, thinking there's bad rumors flying about a Tristan Jarry trade. Where is Cossa at? How does he look? When does he finally factor in when it comes to the big club?
Yeah, and he's already made his debut. He got a call up last year. I think you're going to see him again in Detroit at some point this year. He's off to a very good start in Grand Rapids, .935 save percentage. It was .943 going into last night, the game I went to, so maybe I jinxed him. Gave up 4 last night, but they still won. I mean, that team is, I don't know if you've seen, they're on a historic pace down there, their farm team. They're 21-0-1.
Jeez.
So far. I mean, they've won 20 out of their first 22 games is what that means. And he's a big reason why. He started 12 of them. And you talk to anyone down there, they'll tell you he's been a beast for them. And they've probably won a few more lately than maybe even their play might tell you. But I think he's a big part of why he's trended up in a huge way. You know, his numbers the last 2 years were solid. He was a .913. He was a .911. These are good goalie numbers. .935 tells you that he's really in kind of the driver's seat now in that league. And again, I do think you'll see him before the end of the year. It's just a matter of when. And so is that at the trade deadline? Is that sooner? Obviously, an injury can always change anything, but he's a part of their future for sure. Talbot's not under contract for next year, and you would think they want to give him at least a little bit of a runway this year going into next year. Obviously, for a team that wants to snap a playoff drought, there's other considerations, but he's a big part of the story for sure.
Cue the Talbot to Edmonton text right now after that. So we actually saw a bunch of them when people were lamenting the Oilers goaltending a few weeks ago. All right, Max, I want to ask you about Todd McLellan. There's a bit of Oilers flavor on this Red Wings squad. And, you know, we talk about Talbot, but behind the bench, it's Todd McLellan, who had a decent run here in Edmonton. Unfortunately, came to an end a little bit shorter than he wanted it to in terms of the length. I think he had a 5-year deal when Todd had signed here. How has he molded this team? Do you notice a different identity from the team that he took over when Derek Lalonde got fired last December?
Yes, and I think Derek Lalonde is a good coach, really smart coach, but I think the identity that McLellan brings has really resonated with this group. It's direct, it's assertive. He's got a lot of experience. You can kind of tell the presence when he's out on the ice. You know, you can really hear his bark and really make out what he's saying from the stand. So it's great for us reporters. We know exactly what he's telling them to do. But certainly I think you felt the short-term boost that you usually see with a coaching change. And I think now, you know, it's been almost a year now. I think it's long beyond that, and they've still maintained a lot of the kind of identity shifts that they were looking for under him. I do think, you know, a big part of that, they're getting more volume to the net and trying to create net in that part of the ice. I'm sure that Lalonde would have liked them to do the same thing too, but the way that they've emphasized it, I think has really resonated, and that's a big part of their identity now. I think this was a team that was trying to be a really stout defensive outfit. It just wasn't happening. They've now shifted into they still want to be a stout defensive outfit. But I think part of that is by shifting that to the forecheck and by, you know, pinning another team in, being assertive, being aggressive, and having it start at that part of the ice.
That doesn't bode well for the Oilers defense, at least for the majority of this season. All right, what do you expect from the Red Wings tonight? 3 and 4 nights. They've been rolling on the road here. This road trip has gone quite well for them. Edmonton looking to bounce back after a tough night against Buffalo, where they managed to salvage a point, but not their best performance either. What are you expecting?
I think this is a tough one for the Red Wings going in. I think this is a tough time to catch the Oilers, who have started to pick up of late. I know they dropped it last night. You wonder if that just means they're a little bit pissed off and want to kind of regain their form here. Red Wings, I think, will be a little worn down toward the end of a trip, but you never know. That's why they play the games. I'm sure the Red Wings feel like they have something to prove after the way they almost let last night slip as well. So I think that the home ice and the matchup advantage really does favor Edmonton when you have the two best chess pieces any coach could want to deploy in the NHL, and McDavid and Draisaitl. So I give the edge to the Oilers. My guess would be something like a 4-2. So I guess that gives you your under from your first question, but I guess we'll find out.
Oh, I love that. That's a great segue into our game day odds check. We're going to get to that from Play Alberta right away. Max, this has been great, man. Really appreciate you hopping on tonight. Enjoy the game. Stay warm. Happy holidays to you, man. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, Tom. Take care.
There you go. There's Max Bultman, Red Wings beat reporter for The Athletic. Excellent information from Max, and even a little bit of an inside look at Sebastian Cossa and Grand Rapids continuing to have success, the Red Wings farm team. All right. He did give us the perfect segue into the game day odds check, brought to you by Play Alberta. When you play in Alberta, it stays in Alberta, safe and secure. The revenue generated from Play Alberta is redirected into Alberta's General Revenue Fund, which is used to support programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. You can hit promo code EST50. That's a $50 deposit for a $50 free bet. Your money line tonight: Edmonton minus 182 favorites, Detroit at plus 154. Obviously a tired Red Wings team with a bunch of travel, although still winning games on this road trip. The over-under set at 6.5. The over at minus 130. The under, like Max was talking about, he was leaning towards at minus 102. That is your Play Alberta game day odds check. I sprinkled on the lock shop partner parlay today. I didn't want anything to do with any of the Oilers bets.
You're not confident in what you'll see tonight. Don't know.
No,
roll the dice.
No. Yeah, that's how I feel, honestly, Benny.
Yeah, and it's fair. I mean, I've been saying their play has come around, right?
Generally.
But the Buffalo game has the opportunity to. It can be a one-off game if they come out and they do really well against the Detroit team tonight. But I mean, at the same time, maybe it's not even Detroit where we can really measure this. It's Cass mentioned in Game Changers on this first point, 3 and 4. I didn't think he was going to go to the Detroit side. I thought he was sticking to Edmonton. Edmonton has this is their first game over 3 and 4.
That's right.
Go to Toronto on Saturday and then Montreal on Sunday. So, I mean, I guess like who knows? Like after that, this weekend, I guess we'll see what the record kind of comes out to be. But yeah, I mean, I've thought their play's been coming around, and the Buffalo game. Honestly, it was the second period was so bad. The first period, I'm telling you right now, the Oilers win that game. No one talks about that first period like it was a bad period. No one does. Like, everyone goes, it was an all right period. Like, and that's what it was. So to me, the second period being so bad is why people include the first. But they had a good third period, and they clawed back and tied it late. Good for them. And I guess we'll see if they can take that momentum that they built on the third period against Buffalo and bring it into tonight.
Have your say. Text us 780-218-9999. Someone's sending me some. Oh God, Dusty got in on this. I'm gonna just read it. It's Please. From Doug. It says, Doug from Red Deer. Here, remember when you and Tom, this is to me and Dusty, and the listeners mocked me for saying Bush is as important or more important than 97? Here's another example for you. Winky face. And it's McDavid, Bouchard, goals for percentage without 53.85%, goals for percentage without Bouchard 44. Oh my God.
Here we go.
Like,
let's get you on this talk.
Like, I'm going to reply with, this reminds me of a Jesse Puljujärvi war chart that tried making the same point.
Yeah, but then Dusty will get mad at you at that one because he's a big Puljujärvi guy.
No, Dusty's given up the bit. He's given up the bit. Trust me. All right. Couple of stats to throw your way before we get into a couple more things. Some fun stuff. The Red Wings are 8-2 against the Pacific Division this year. That is absolutely tremendous. Edmonton 3-2-2 against the Atlantic Division. Oilers versus Detroit in recent years, 5-3-2 is the record. 0-1-1 against Detroit in the last 2 games. At home against Detroit more recently, Edmonton is better, 3-0-2. And then all time, the Oilers versus the Red Wings is 58-62-9 with 13 ties at home. 32-24-4 with 10 ties all time at home versus the Wings. Edmonton 7-3-3 at home this season, which is still pretty good. Yeah. Like, I think we're in for a good matchup. Honestly, this should be a good one tonight. All right. I sent you a photo. Yep. And this will tie into the Oilers because there's a little bit of news that popped up today that I saw. This is the Stadium Series uniform reveal for the Lightning and the Bruins. Let me know what you think. We're going to show it on screen. 780-218-9999 or jump into the nasty chat. These were just revealed. I'll describe them for those listening, maybe making your way over to Rogers Place. The Bruins have it's a yellow jersey, big black numbers, and then it just says Boston in writing, like straight across, and then the little black bear with Bruins on the inside, black helmet, white gloves, and a black stripe on the arms and at the bottom of the jersey. Not the biggest fan of this one, but I understand. Like, it's a one-off, right? Yep. They're going to wear them for the Stadium Series, and then they'll wear them a couple of games. And the Stadium Series game is played in Tampa this year, and it has like a pirate theme to it. So Tampa, meanwhile, I think they wanted to go with the sea to sky look.
Yeah.
And it's all blue with baby blue, and then a TBL diagonally down the jersey, the numbers in baby blue, the striping on the arms, thick baby blue stripe, white stripes around the thick baby blue, same on the bottom of the jersey, blue pants, blue gloves. Not overly imaginative, but okay. Like, the color scheme is nice.
I love the color scheme on these. I love.
You like that one?
I'm favorite color's blue. Baby blue to be specific. So I mean, there you go. And then I'm always a big fan of the TBL logo that they have.
You like that?
Down. I like that a lot, honestly. I think these will look even better on ice too. Like, I think they'll look clean. Those are nice.
The color of the Tampa one looks cleaner than the one of the Bruins.
Yes. Yeah.
But the Bruins at least have a bit of a logo.
Yeah.
With the bear on it, as opposed to TBL and big bold lettering going down diagonally. The Lightning also have a shoulder patch on theirs. I think it has like a pirate skull on it, which is good, because I don't know if a lot of people know this, but a lot of pirate theming in the Tampa area, South Florida. And then they have a festival that's pirate. I can't remember the name of it. We were there for it one year, and it was awesome. It was just like a mini stampede, if you will.
Oh yeah,
it was a lot of fun. Yeah, and like everybody's dressed up like pirates for a few days. Yeah, it's kind of neat. So that'll be
better than Cowboys.
Better than Cowboys, fake Cowboys in Calgary. Yes. Now there was news, Benny, today. Someone put it out there talking about the league introducing a new jersey program next year, kind of similar to the reverse retro that we saw a couple of times during the pandemic and afterwards. Confirmed. It is happening. I was given the heads up on it a few weeks ago. I was given some insight into the Oilers jersey that they're going to have. So they will have 4 uniforms next year. And I was told that they will maintain the alternate jersey that they have, because the one that vintage white,
you have to have for a certain time.
You have to have it for at least 3 years. So that will be a part of the look next year. And then obviously the standard home and away will be there. And then this new uniform, I'm not going to say what the theme is. I was told to keep it secret. I was told that they were given a few different options that the designers from, the league or Fanatics sent to them. And they were also provided with the option of just taking it in-house. Sounds like they will take it in-house with the look. I know some people have said that they know it's black. I haven't been told that, so I can't confirm anything. I just know that that they were offered 3 different looks, and they said, you know what, we're gonna do this ourselves.
I like a black jersey. I've talked about it with there was some jersey that came out recently that I really liked. Dallas black jersey. You guys didn't like it that much. I love a slick black jersey. And if the Oilers do go down that way, I'm very curious to see how it comes out. I wonder if they would ditch the blue and they would just go orange, or if they would add a little both in there. I don't know. I didn't
ask. Yeah, I wasn't prying because I was being commended for my partnership on this most recent uniform and not revealing too much.
Yeah, that is fair.
But yes, the whole league, everybody's getting a new jersey next year. And the other thing I can say about the Oilers jersey, for next season is the people that didn't like the faux retro look of this one. This is kind of a counter to it.
Okay.
So take that and interpret it how you will. And when I'm told that, and I'm told the theme that the league is going with next year, I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, I get it. We've seen other leagues do similar things with some theming, and the NHL looks to cash in on something similar. And to me, it's cool. I like seeing people walking around with different Oilers logos and like the third or the shoulder patch from the 90s and stuff like that. Like what they did with the Day of the Dead Latino theme, how they turned that oil rig worker into a kind of that Spanish motif, Mexican Latino motif. I thought that was great. I think that's awesome. And they're really doing some great work, that marketing team and branding team, diving into the Oilers past and coming up with some new concepts with some old looks.
Yep.
But I can tell you this, the copper and blue, like the dark, not coming back.
Really?
It's not really thought of fondly,
I guess. Yeah.
Yep. So
franchise,
like if it comes back, it's under a different regime.
Interesting.
But I don't understand. Like I liked it too when I was growing up and a kid, but not that great when you look back. You're like, oh, that's so late 90s.
Yeah.
But I know 90s are in right now for whatever reason.
Yeah, I don't choose that, but they happen to be.
Just let it be, baby.
Yeah.
Just let it be. This one. Let's go to this one. Shout out to Cody. Says, hey, a big fan here. My brother is a bigger fan. Go Oilers, go. His name's Cody. Hello, Cody. Hello, Cody's brother. Drop your name as well. We want to give you a shout out. So, it's good stuff. We only have a couple minutes left. Devereaux, obviously late 90s, early 2000s Oilers fan, says, boo, why not, Tommy? I don't know. I like them. I thought they served their purpose and time to move on. I like the fact that the Oilers tried something different with this new look.
Yeah.
And they keep winning in them, and I think that wins people over.
To me, the clear standout best jerseys the Oilers have are the ones that they're currently wearing as their home ones. To me, that should be their mainstay.
Always be the jersey.
Home jerseys, no matter what. Those are the cleanest, nicest jerseys that they have, and they look slick. And even I like the away one too. Like even the white, I think it looks good too. So to me, they shouldn't touch those for a very long time. Don't touch it. Have the fun alternates.
I'll say this, and I love the jersey stuff, so I thought we'd get into it today at the end of the show. Yeah. When they switched from the classic look in 2017 to the darker blue with the brighter orange, and then the brighter orange main, and then the darker blue, the person who made that choice and went with that design did not last much longer in their role. They were also part of my demise over there, so I had very little sympathy. But it was someone who didn't value or listen to people from here and the tradition and the reason and why the royal blue with the orange mattered, and just came in here from out east and said, you know what, to me the Oilers are this. We're going to do this. I'm going to put a stamp on this team with my own branding, and it was crappy. So there you go.
So bad.
Little peek behind the curtain. They were terrible.
So bad. Oh my God.
All right. Hey, good pregame show.
Yeah, good pregame show. Let's have an even better one from my living room in a couple hours.
I like it. All right. So, Benny, there's a scheduled power outage at EST Global HQ tonight. So, Benny will be producing from home. I'll be at the satellite studios. I'm on my way to the game right now. And Matt Kassian will be back for the post-game show from his satellite studios. That's going to do it for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Big thank you to Max Boltman from The Athletic, Red Wings beat reporter. Great stuff from him as the Oilers and the Red Wings close out the season series. The Oilers close out 5-game homestand as well before hitting the road out east. Should be a good one tonight. Maybe it'll be hot action inside the rink while everybody else on the outside is cold because of these frigid temperatures. But hopefully the Oilers can warm things up a little bit. Down at Rogers Place, that's going to do it. For Cass, for Benny, I'm Tommy saying enjoy the game. We'll see you on the postgame show. Ciao for now.